Nurseries are an integral part of the estate's portfolio of activity. In the modernity of our times, there is so much that botanists have been able to contribute toward the success of the industry. Pest and disease-resistant cultivars are now identified, and the quantum of extension services made available by the state and other stakeholders is formidable. Tea is not planted from seed anymore, but the new plants are derived from excellent parent stock by way of stem cuttings. These are cultivated under controlled conditions and under strict supervision to ensure that the next replanting season will never be in vain. At no time have there been attempts to adjust or change the gene of the plant in order to enhance certain features or qualities that the natural plant is known to possess. There is no genetic modification with Ceylon tea. Although some tea plants or bushes may be quite old in the plantations that have existed for over 100 years, it is nevertheless a policy of the state and the planter community that there is much that takes place systematically in replanting whole areas of an estate. Sometimes they allow the tea lands to lie fallow or uncultivated, and a period for soil regeneration is maintained. Another important routine that is followed is pruning, that too being assigned at periods with the bushes bereft of any leaf, but awash in lime, until it is time for fertilizer to be applied and the fresh round of cultivation to flourish. Planting of the bushes is a labor-intensive exercise and also involves discipline and serious application of regulations. For instance, since the slopes on much of the montane terrain are also planted with tea, there is the ever-present danger of erosion of soil in the rainy seasons. This would be disastrous if not checked, and here again there is effort made to retain the soil in the mountains. Barriers are carefully erected and vegetation planted to prevent the cascades of water taking the vital soil into the streams and rivulets that abound in these plantations. Another interesting and relevant development has to do with the efficiencies that have been worked on to reduce cost and waste in the estate and factories. Safety, like never before, is an important feature inasmuch as health and education has been over the decades. Almost all the estates or plantation sectors have schools and educational programs that have been set up, and an integral part of that system of education has to do with imparting skills in managing the environment and keeping it safe and clean for generations in the future. There are standards as regards the use of chemicals. There is also much emphasis in the modern day as regards organic cultivation of tea, and certain producers have concentrated some of their effort in producing organic tea for discerning and fastidious consumers the world over. Technology keeps pace with the demands of the industry. Much research and development has been taken for granted, but the fact is that even tea bags and their quality are better for consumers today than when they were first introduced decades ago. Tea tasting is both a science and an art and involves the human senses. This requires exact training and expertise not unlike what is pursued among vintners. At the tea factory, in the proximity of the individual estates, the first of the evaluations is done. Usually there will be a distinctive aroma and flavor that is intrinsic to the estate of origin and its particular elevation above sea level. In the best quality season, usually dependent on the prevailing monsoon winds and temperature, the tea will fetch higher prices in the marketplace. With this in mind, the tea samples are carefully tasted and then tagged to be included in the catalogue. The sample will perfectly match the lots of tea that will be made available in the weekly tea auction. The samples are then sent to the tea broker located in the capital, Colombo. The Colombo tea traders conduct one of the most efficient operations for the marketing of tea. The tea broker firms, of which there are a large number, receive the details of the made tea from several estates in the growing regions. In the customary practice developed over a century or more, experts who work for the brokers taste the tea. They will ascertain the compelling value of the tea samples based on quality, appearance, aroma, and flavor. These notes are then carefully preserved, as they enable the buyers to set about creating the blends that specific buyers of the tea are known to demand. Samples of the tea are sent to the buyers or their representatives as well. They in turn also taste the tea and note the particular values that they demand from Ceylon tea and decide on prices. The weekly tea auction in Colombo is the largest in the world in terms of kilograms on offer and sold, and the values that are generated in the sales. It is held on a Tuesday and Wednesday every week, hosted by the Venerable Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. Having obtained the lots of tea up for sale from the manufacturers, the brokers have created the samples that the buyers demand, and they offer the lots for sale. The buyers bid for the lots and offer prices that they have decided are appropriate according to what is noted in the weekly catalogue. Once the buyers have selected their lots and paid for them, the brokers in the trade ensure that the shipment of tea is then delivered to the merchant buyer, be they in Sri Lanka or overseas. Tea from one particular growing region or estate has a strong component that compensates for any loss in flavor in the tea from another estate. Blends are created based on the customer requirements and expectations, and which are carefully learnt and abided by the buyers of tea. The buyer will also strive to maintain a level price for his tea so that his customer is likely to remain loyal to his brand, and so on. All these economic factors also have something to do with the attention paid to details of flavor and aroma. Rather than relying entirely on a single estate to provide his custom, he has to adroitly deal with the issues of price and taste. One can do no more than marvel at this hugely orchestrated exercise in ascertaining and maintaining the highest quality, as would suit discerning consumers of tea all over the world. Packaging, too, is a factor that has much to do with the appeal of the product. Freshness is of paramount importance. Nothing is left to chance, since spoilage spells disaster and loss of custom. Initially, when the early manufacturers made their tea, it was available in bulk, packed in carefully sealed wooden or plywood chests. But now, triple-ply bags are mostly used. An important development has occurred in more recent years, where Sri Lankan industrialists have also developed their own marketing operations, no more dependent on third-party buyers or middlemen. The producers handle their own sales overseas as well as locally. Some of them have their own distinctive brands. They have spent fortunes on developing not only their own marketing strategy, but have developed and designed their own packaging and value addition. These have brought to Ceylon tea a new impetus. New and even younger consumers who appreciate a natural and safe, refreshing drink are choosing Ceylon tea as the preferred beverage. Innovations in flavor and presentation are also to be noted. Attractive and artistically devised cartons and assortments are now de rigueur. Ready-to-drink tea is also increasingly chic and is generally offered as an iced alternative to other cola-based carbonated sweet drinks.